This is Valley News Live at noon.
Closing arguments are underway in the trial of Semela Pendleton, the man accused of killing a Grand Forks police officer. The prosecution took the stand to convince the jury that Pendleton is guilty of murder of Officer Cody Holty and Pendleton's mother, Lola Moore. Prosecutors went through each piece of evidence that has been shown, relying heavily on body camera footage and bullet trajectories.
When they get in the apartment for the next 14 minutes, the officers did everything they could to get the defendant to come out of that bedroom without anyone getting hurt. But the defendant had already made up his mind how this day was going to end. And it wasn't going to end peacefully.
Now, the defense began their closing arguments saying, if anything, Pendleton is guilty of manslaughter in the deaths of his mother and Officer Holty. Stick with Valley News Live as we continue to bring you the latest from the courtroom. A Wyoming man is in the Cass County Jail after allegedly sexually assaulting a young girl last summer. Stephen Owens is charged with one felony count of gross sexual imposition. Court documents say in June 2020, Fargo police began investigating after a 12-year-old girl said she had been abused by Owens multiple times. Court documents say Owens would watch her overnight while the victim's mother worked. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The Bemidji Police Department is looking for a missing 17-year-old girl. Kaylee Holmes has been gone since last Monday around 4 in the afternoon. Police say the disappearance does not appear suspicious, but she may be heading to the Duluth area. Holmes has brown hair and eyes and was last seen wearing black shorts and a tie-dyed shirt with white shoes. She has pierced ears, a nose piercing, a scar on her left forearm, and a tattoo on her middle finger. If you know where she could be, call the Bemidji Police Department at 218-333-9111. Well, it feels very good, but the weather could be potentially smoky, and that could cause a problem in the area. Well, let's check in with Summer Snowbuck to see what we should expect. Happy Tuesday, Summer.
Happy Tuesday to you as well, Brian. Yeah, definitely smoke and wildfire haze is continuing to be a problem across the valley. Here's a look at our Dakota Magic Casino Skycam network, and notice the trees are looking a little bit fuzzy. It's not because of our camera, it's because of that wildfire smoke and haze coming down to the surface. I stepped outside about an hour ago here in Fargo, and you could just smell the haze. One thing that the haze is bringing is some very vibrant and beautiful sunrises and sunsets, like this one, a canola sunset in Grand Forks. Amazing shot by Bobby Shields. But unfortunately, the haze is also bringing decreased air quality across areas of the valley. This was last updated at 11 o'clock. It updates about every hour. And notice some areas are highlighted in yellow and orange, meaning unhealthy for some or unhealthy for all. If you can smell the smoke, it's a good idea to stay inside. Current temperatures across the valley are mostly in the 70s with a few 80s up across the northern valley. Perfect day to spend some time at the fair if the air quality improves some by later on this afternoon. Temperatures well into the 80s. Brian, I'll have your 7-day forecast and the one potential chance for rain coming up in a few minutes.
Let's hope the weather works out so we can see who's better at carnival games between me and you, Summer.
Definitely you.
I was expecting that. Thanks, Summer. Well, the FDA has issued a new warning about one of the coronavirus vaccines used here in the United States. Meanwhile, new COVID cases are on the rise as the Delta variant contends its spread. Natalie Brand has the latest.
As the U.S. pushes to increase vaccination rates, a new warning from the FDA that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be linked to a very rare neurological disorder known as Guillain-Barré syndrome.
People with viral and bacterial infections can get an autoimmune reaction against the nerves in their body. And it happens occasionally with vaccines. It happens with flu vaccine, shingle vaccine, to very, very rare events.
The FDA says it has seen 100 preliminary reports of Guillain-Barré out of nearly 13 million people who received the one-dose J&J shot. 95 of those cases required hospitalization. One person died. Johnson & Johnson says the chance of having this occur is very low, and we strongly support raising awareness of the signs and symptoms of rare events.
We have the treatments for it. The key is to identify it early. And with this warning, we will do that.
The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines have not been found to have a similar risk for that complication, and doctors are still urging unvaccinated Americans to get their shots to protect against the fast-spreading Delta variant.
It is spreading more efficiently, that it is spreading in pockets that are unvaccinated, and it's causing a lot of disease and a lot of stress.
The largest increase is happening in some southern and western states.
Missouri, Arkansas, Nevada, Utah, Florida have seen more activity than other parts of the country.
CDC Deputy Director Jay Butler says more than 99% of all new cases are in people who are completely unvaccinated. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
We spoke with local doctors and they agree with the national experts. Clinics in the Valley plan to continue the use of the Johnson & Johnson one-dose COVID vaccine despite the FDA's new warning. Well, consumer alert now for those of you who use CPAP machines to help you with sleep. Philips is recalling some ventilators, BiPAP and CPAP machines. The FDA said the foam, which is used to reduce sound and vibration in the devices, may break down the debris or certain chemicals could be inhaled or swallowed. Now, if you use any of the recalled devices, talk to your doctor about whether to continue using it or to come up with an alternative treatment. A complete list of recalled devices can be found on the FDA's website. We have the link at valleynewslive.com and on our VNL News app. Well, so far this year, 24 people have died while walking on Minnesota roads, and 224 people lost their lives in vehicle crashes. A new statewide campaign is focused on improving safety for pedestrians and drivers. Now, when driving, be sure to stop for people crossing at intersections, even if there's not a crosswalk or stoplight, and look all directions before turning. If you're out for a walk, make sure you're visible to drivers and avoid distracted behaviors. The Let's Move Safely Together campaign runs now through October. Well, MapBus is providing free shuttle service for people to check the Trollwood musical of Cinderella. Opening night is tomorrow. You can catch the free ride at the MapBus shelter at the Azul Hornbachers in South Moorhead. There is a continuous loop between that shelter lot and Blue Stem. Don't forget to bring your mask for the ride. MapBus says they're happy to support the community, especially with businesses and services still recovering from the impacts of COVID-19.
Important to support the different initiatives and different programs that are going on in the community, especially as they're kind of gearing back up to get into some realm of normal operations.
Bus service begins at 7 and goes until 11:15 each night. Cinderella performances begin at 8:30 tomorrow through Saturday, then again on July 21st through 24th and July 28th through 31st. Well, coming up at noon, wildfires continue to rage in 7 different states. We have an update on those conditions. And high temperatures with hazy conditions expected today in our neck of the woods. We get in a closer look with Summer Snellbach up next.